you. Thank you, Flawless. See, where would I be without you? I get so frustrated with the way I have this, this setup. It means, for the last 15 minutes, I've just been talking to myself. Which isn't anything new, but it's not how I wanted to do things. Shoot! Right, so I got this coming in here. Maybe this is the road I copy more so than the other. How you doing, Flawless? Doing alright. I am doing alright. Figured I'd get us started. I got like an hour or two to kinda... An hour or two to kind of bum around, so this is supposed to be a two-lane highway. A two-way highway. Ooh, I don't want a two-way highway. I don't think. Do I want a two-way highway? Three-lane. Sound barrier. I'm not sure. Not sure what I want. It looks a little weird. Well, highway versus two-lane highway. I think I was supposed to be doing the two-lane highway this entire time. I don't know. Great road. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, let's just do that. I gotta keep running this, otherwise I'm not gonna have the money to pay for all this. Alright, now that we're here... Let's see. Maybe I should delete a few of these. Just follow the curvature. It's not bad. A little close, but should work. Yeah, what the hell. Start building your PC. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. It's exciting. Just fits. Look at that. Oh, but I am going to destroy that. I asked all components and everything, but honestly, I only know a little bit about it. That's not quite true, but yeah, those are, well, GPUs can be a little expensive too, but I found the CPUs, CPU is a good investment there. Same with the motherboard. If you get good ones of those, they'll last you a while. And then you don't need to replace everything. right away in a few years. Yeah, case power supply, nice, nice. Some cool case designs out there nowadays. I remember the first time I was looking at doing PC stuff, and well, they weren't as nice. They weren't as flashy, at least, if nothing else. You can get some cool stuff nowadays. I still don't love that. How do I get? Maybe it's just a straight line there. Doing the curving. Hydrate. You'll be making me drink all night. Something out. Oh, because it's a channel point, it doesn't make sound. I have another thing that usually makes some sound. So I was like, what? Hey, that's not bad. Maybe I need to here and that's better. Okay, that's better. You can get some stuff on Facebook Marketplace that is like, really? That cheap? Alright. Think about selling why don't you like this? There we go. There we go. This is much better. Nice. Yeah, sometimes there's some places that you know, regularly have discounts or like solid. What the heck is happening? Gotta. This whole thing. Whole thing. Oh, why I'm curving. It's better. Okay. Alright. So we got 3-lane access coming in here. This should just be a merge. I don't know why. This is weird. Mind this. I have to do something else just a little bit because I'm running out of money for this. Alright, how did I want to... because I never brought the water. Yeah. Astoria zone. Curved roads, man. Curved roads are my bane. Fighting them doing this water stuff here. Still having plumbing issues. Place is not fun. It is what it is. Maybe I'll cut across here. And then bulldoze. Bulldoze. Station here. Do a little bit more. I should probably make sure that the water can actually reach all this, of course. Could be a little bit lax there on how that actually works. The road. Onto the road. Dang, dude. You are just doing all the things, man. Glasses. Starting a PC build. It's exciting, man. What do the glasses look like? Get them thick boys or get some wireframes. A couple different styles in vogue right now, I guess. I don't know. Can't say that I'm a style savant, so we're coming in this way. Coming in hot. What I'll do. Thin frames. Nice. Nice. Should we do a bridge to nowhere? No. Alright, we'll save our money. Hey, Rook. How you doing? You're still asleep upstairs, so... Yeah, I know you're asleep. That's why. But you playing this last night has, it's created an itch. No. I started a new city a while ago. So this is San Wawa. Yeah. Where do you see the San Wawa? Oh, there it is. I know how to play this game. Now, I, in my opinion, did better things this time around. Not the best, but better. This is questionable. Yeah, see, that's where I have a hard time being like, that's how I'm gonna play. It's like going to every individual lot or like detailing certain things. I really get lost with that, so. Maybe I should put another little warehouse here. Not farming. I want forestry. That's what you are, right? Yeah. Should probably have some like farm things over here. Huh. Gotta shade. What am I looking for? Like right over here, I'll do a big warehouse that I don't have money for. Oh, log. You know exactly how to not do well in this game. How many people do I have? A lot. Why is my global happiness down? Need trash over here. That makes sense. Put it over here. That's what I should do. Maybe I should turn this. I should like boop. And then like right? Like a local thing. And then and so I have Lane highway coming in here. Something like that. I have a highway ramp. Maybe like this is wonky, but it works. Stoke is to sleep. weird. And then do something like that. And then also something like just merge. Come on. Do it. Do it. Nope. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of that. I'm just not getting that. You got this. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I now have to let this play because I'm out of money. No. Why would you do that? Not like that. Oh, because I don't have the curve on. Alright. It's weird. It works. Oh! Flawless! Thank you for the Prime subscription. I appreciate that. Woo! Didn't need to do that. Thank you. Let's just double check. We do not have water up here. Why did I make these curvy roads? Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I figure I might as well connect this up now, right? I waste money if I were to do that, I guess. I love that so much. All right. So we're gonna get some money now. What I could do is a small turn off here. Yeah, okay, I can do that. And then go into dirt road. That's not dirt road. That's like a weird path thing. Where is this? A dirt road? 2-lane gravel road. Industry road. What happened to the dirt road? Is this it? I guess this is it. I'll try and do something like this. Ooh. Not what I meant to do. Really wish there was just like a simple undo button in this game. I don't like that, actually. Even though it's dumb. So then, maybe having something that goes back out that way. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. So I still need to pick that up to there. What is with this? Just so frustrating. Why is it curved that way? Yes, I could. I could do. That. Come back down. Oh. It's able to come in. It's the only thing this is missing. The ability to go whoosh to whoosh. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, I can hook it up to here. There we go. I mean, so far, I like these interchanges so much more than what we started with at the beginning of this. I think this is way better. What's going on here? Oh, that's a policy. Any issues? Not having water. That's an issue. That's a big issue. That's a big issue. All right. Should get going. I need now. So let's take a look at natural resources. Okay, so I feel like over here we could totally do some housing. And I think what I actually want to do here is come in. I don't want to I want to marquee it. I actually want, because otherwise I'll just get a big old house, right? But if I split up the lots like this, I think I'll get more. I think. Rook, is that correct logic here? Is this gonna work? also run the water this way. What do you need over here? Oh, that's what I was gonna do over here. No. All right, so that's over there. Oh, these don't have power, of course. I didn't make the jump yet. No, I don't want that. Is that gonna work? No, I really don't want to have to do this if I don't have to. Maybe I'll do, if I can get it to work like that. Maybe I can just hope that it all works out. Hey, we did it! Nice. All right, and now still need to divvy up some more of these plots, I think. Do something like this where it's like, is that gonna give me 2? Be nice if it did. I feel like that's kind of doing its thing at this point. Trying to get as many workers in there as possible. Speed it up just a little bit here. We could bump this up just a little bit. And then we could also take a loan. I can't take a loan because I already took all the loans. Of course. Of course. What do I want to do here? I feel like healthcare is the most. Let's do that. I should probably do it down here too. Alright. Folks, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna get a cup of coffee. I'm out! Alright, and at the same time, do a quick ad break. If you're subbed, you'll see ads. Nice. Get to see this and any catastrophes that occur happen in real time here. I'll be right back. Woo. And I'm back from outer space. With that look on your face. And I brought Christmas cookies. It's fun. Ad is still playing. But good to see you guys. How about people are unhappy? Why are people unhappy? Let's see. Not enough workers, ever. Steel workers from over here? That's funny. Just generally, not enough workers. On cookies. They go great. A hot drink. Tea. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Hello. Alright. So I think part of our reason about the workers issue right now is that I got this community down here. No, that's not, well, probably not great. I wonder, since I didn't finish this loop, they're having a hard time getting up here. The other thing might be that I should create another exchange or something that links more of this together. So one of the things that I can do, probably get rid of this at this point. I don't think that's necessary. And then what I can also do is make a little exchange here or something. Thank you, Google. Slow you down on 1 here. What is this? This is a 4-lane road. This is also a 4-lane road. 4-lane road with bicycle lanes, 4-lane road. I don't know what you are. Industry road. This must be what I have coming in. I don't know what you are. That must be... two-lane road with a median. Maybe this is a 4-lane road. Yeah, that fits. Okay. And maybe what I'll do is actually do something like that. Connect it up. Connect it up like that. Alright. Just gives a little bit more mobility. Alright. Let's actually go out to the world. Trying to think about how I want to actually kind of build this eventually. Do I have this? I do. I do. All right, so let's build it up. All right, so joint. A strip here as you're coming in. Split it up. One thing that we could do right around here, create a sub-neighborhood. Guess it wouldn't be a sub-neighborhood, it would just be a neighborhood. Building is emptying. Oh, it's still emptying. Okay. Do something like that. So it is. All right. I mean, the worker problem is gonna have to just, I guess, solve itself. Maybe I could do something around here. So here, I'll do something like that. Which way? So that's going in. Maybe I also put. Something like that. It's a weird interchange. Alright, well, it is what it is. It goes back to purple for some reason. I want you to be a blue. A blue. Blue, blue, blue. Should put in a health thing. Where I want to do it. So. It's funny how that road is just really hard. It's weird. I'm still gonna do it. High capacity. That's cool. We already got that. We should probably put in a fire station. Maybe we'll put that in. There. Snoozy leaves. Let's go back in here. Better. Ah, not enough electricity. How does this doing a wind farm? How do I want to do this? Well, so I could do one. And then... That worked. That's weird. Okay. And now... feel like these... I don't know if this will work, but we'll try. Here... we'll do some of this, some of this. Can I get something there? I don't know if that lot is going to be too small, but we'll try.
Is everybody in the groove? Well, stick around. We're just warming up, baby.
What's going on here? I just noticed this. Yeah, that's an issue. Alright. Oh, didn't want that. Okay. And that, I think, got rid of the electricity problem. And it gives me enough for another one. Nice. Alright, so at this point, let's go back in. Start redoing these guys. Give a few more lots. Should probably upgrade these roads at some point soon. There's not a lot of connections here, so let's give just a few more here. this point, oh, too far. Too far. Alright, let's try that again. Much better. Oh, bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye. That way we can... Something like that. Look at that. It's weird, but it works. Weird, but it works. And then at the same time... do something like that. Ah. Straight roads, please. Really gridding it up. Not quite along the road, but it'll work. Huh. All right. So that now can start getting made. I'll have to bring power down here, but we'll do that in a bit. Wallace, you're keeping me on my toes. You are keeping me on my toes this morning. Which is good. I need to be kept on my toes. No problem. Y'all need electricity. how much am I at with this? 7,000. What's the best way to do this? Something like that. Maybe I'll just do big stuff here. Hydrate. Hydrate. Yeah, dude. Always be hydrating. ABH. Mama. I'm gonna link this to here and then to here. We're gonna be golden. Come on. Do it. Won't do it. Howard. Oh, there we go. There we go. Bada boom. Alright. That's doing that thing. Pardon me. Stuff like this. You know what they probably need down here? They probably need a park. That'd be nice. Small playground over here. Small parks aren't that small. So, pause it. Probably upgrade some of these roads soon. All right. All right, we're getting there. Maybe it's time that we finish up this road. Ooh, that costs a lot. Is it worth it? answer? Nope. Let's try something like that. I don't have enough money. All right. We'll just sit here. Oh yeah? It's fun, man. Please understand I'm using man and bud and guys and all that jazz as a kind of genderless thing. I don't know if you're a guy or a girl or anything in between, or outside those bounds. But I hope you're cool with that. Yeah, D&D is super fun. Oh, I guess yeah, that might have tipped you off there. Super fun. I'm actually I'm trying to learn Pathfinder right now. For a couple reasons. But one of which is like I know I don't know, I got Pathfinder 2E a couple months ago. But I never really like did anything with it. This way. Is that it? Oh, I should also have a thing coming off here. Do that. That's gonna be weird. But then with all the recent controversy surrounding Wizards, well, Hasbro's, also Wizards, kind of stuff regarding OGL and all that jazz. It's like, oh, you know what? I do have Pathfinder. But yeah, D&D's fun. Definitely recommend grabbing the Player's Handbook. The starter set is okay. I'm not as huge of a fan of it as some folks are, but you know, teach their own. Can I thread that needle a little bit? Make this work? I don't know if I can make this work. Yeah, I mean, Discord's gonna be good to help you like find a group to play if you don't have one. I mean, it sounds like, yeah, your friend might be a good person to start a group with, or join a group if they already have a group going. The system's not too hard. I don't know if you've played kind of TTRPGs, tabletop RPGs, or it's a little mathier than some. It's definitely not as bad as others. Pathfinder. Although the nice thing that I've heard with Pathfinder is that it has the same equation every time. It's kind of nice. That's slick. Hey Rook, thank you for reminding me. I don't know if you're still on watching, but thank you for reminding me about tunnels. Super nice. All right. I think the thing I love about D&D though, like particularly, is the type of monsters and everything, and you know, it's borrowed a lot, you know, so I won't say it's particularly like it has a stranglehold on, you know, or like defined any of these things. I mean, it defined some of them, for sure. Weird here, but it works. Yeah, okay. Way cheaper option than going over that water. Why are you so weird? There's just a lot of... Sorry, I'm just still thinking about... One-way highway to main highway. I don't want this. Yeah, okay. Didn't mean to carry the sound barriers up all the way there, but it works. And then the other thing I want to do is, I think, have an off-ramp here. Yeah. Nope. There. Okay. So that does that. How am I gonna solve that problem? Get in there. Sorry, I just now start thinking about this and I completely lost my train of thought on what I was saying before. It's just fun to make up stories, stuff like that, and be heroes, you know? There's all sorts of fun stuff that kind of comes around with D&D and TTRPGs in general, especially though with D&D because of the different aspects of the game. I mean, you could get the same with like Pathfinder and a few others, but it can be a miniatures game. You can play it like that. It can be a a hobby of collecting dice and stuff like that. It can be all virtual as well, which is kind of cool. It can be a lot of different things, depending on your play style and all sorts of stuff. But I think that's kind of cool. So I wonder. Here. I don't like how sharp that is. I need to go. Where am I? Alright, I've seen worse. That looks ridiculous. Other game that I'm like obsessed with. Well, I played this before Blades in the Dark actually, but sorry, D&D, but Blades in the Dark. I really recommend this book or this system because it's pretty simple to start off with, and it doesn't require a lot of dice. All D6s. Yeah, it's very organized chaos. Sorry, I'm just seeing your response here. Very organized chaos with these roads, but I think it's working, except for this. I'm not loving that, but it is what it is. Yeah, D&D is just like some good classic RPG stuff. So just always have fun. I mean, if you have the right group, you're always gonna have fun playing D&D. Now, it's not the best for like all types of storytelling, which is why there's so many other types of RPG systems. But I think it's really good. Anywho, all right, I think we actually connected up the entire system now. Let's just zoom back out. I think this is way better than what we started with at the beginning of the stream, when I was completely muted for the entire first 15 minutes of the stream. So we're like that. Alright, so maybe over here. Stream. That's cool. You. Self-sufficient building. That's cool. Okay. Do a little bit of a thing here. Dean Park? Nah, we're gonna be calling it something else. Something else. How about Deer Park? And then I'm gonna also have. It's amazing that this hasn't been painted. Cypress Square. I don't hate that. Then I think I want to do something different here. I don't think these are aspen trees, though. I may be wrong. Maybe Rowan Hills. Rowan tree. And then Cypress Square. Maybe this will be what's another tree name? I know cypress is a tree. Sandalwood, because we're on the beach. And then let's do Sandalwood Downs. How about that? Wombat Downs, Sandalwood Downs. That works. Okay. Let's go in here. Let's give these folks some good things. First off, let's give them that. We'll give them these. A fire and police right next to each other. There we go. What's that? Maybe what we'll do is actually like put something for the recycling center here. I don't like that. Is this post office? Post office would be good. Right there. I think we already gave it a park. Yep. So now, yeah, it's kind of a little funky. Same station. Same station. Oh. I got like 20 more minutes before I just start doing junk. What do I want to do here? I don't want to do this. Wait, why can't I see what I'm doing here? Why can't I destroy this road? Oh. This is weird. Oh. Wow. Forgot I had that up. How close can I get here? Just love this pile of rocks. Just think it's so cool. Nope. It's not bad. All right. I gotta change this straight. The straight tool, because this is just not working for me. That's funky. All right. I think it's also gonna add. Oops. Ah! What am I doing? Grab is still on that tool. Man. Alright. Feel better about that, actually. Maybe. Now the exchange is right there. Yeah, I feel like this is fine. How are things going over? I just build this stuff and then let it go. It's kind of working. Weapons on fire. Where are you? Emptying finished. Cool. So now we can stop emptying. Doing that. How are you? How full are you? Oh, it's recycling. There you go. How that's a recycling. And how full are you? 31%. Not bad. Cool. You know what? Maybe I think it's time to upgrade some of these roads. Actually, let's do a little bit more housing stuff, and then we'll do roads. Roads, housing. Can I get something in here? I don't know. Maybe. Lawless, you said you just got back from having dinner. How was your day? Keep forgetting we're on a different time thing. I was about to ask, what are your plans for today? But y'all already did it. Y'all already had the day. Tapped out, ready to go. Do some. Some room. Yeah. Yeah, tidying the room up. Some homework. That's not bad. Not a bad day. Something like that. I don't know. The other thing I want to go back over is over here. Boink. Yeah, pretty chill Sunday. That's good. I like when Sundays are chill. Having plans are fun, but it's like sometimes it's nice to, especially on Sundays, just having a bit of a chance to kick back, recharge for the week. I gotta prep for my semester. Semester starts Tuesday. Kinda crazy. Feels like I was just giving finals out, so. So we got that going. Setting stuff up for here. Alright. Roads. Roads. What do I want to do here? I like the 2-lane with the thing. Oh, come on. Oh, is that gonna hurt them? How about this? Nope. Nope. Okay. See ya. Is what it is. See ya. I feel like this strip might be fun to actually have a median like that, yeah. I don't know. That's fun. Have fun. Already started. 3rd week back. Whew. Yeah, for whatever reason, it's like a late start for us. Normally we always start, so next Monday, so tomorrow is it's a holiday for us. It's MLK, Martin Luther King Day. Oh, thank you for following. Call me Sals. Salze? Saze? Or Sauce? Sals. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. This is just too tight now. I'm gonna displace all these folks. Oh no! Alright, well, better make it look pretty. Let's just redo this development. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, normally we, just gonna mess up this whole thing. We would be back already. And this upcoming week would be the 2nd week. I don't know why it's starting weird. It's starting on a Tuesday, too, which is also just like, really? We're doing a Tuesday start? It's weird. Man, I'm just mussing this place all up. Thank you for the follow, though. Boo. I feel like if you have a park, you gotta have trees by it, right? We'll just do that. Just like having... Yeah, slowly getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, race. It's a marathon. I don't know what we're gonna do when we get to 1500. Or 1500. Come on. Log. What are you talking about? When we get to 150. We'll do. Oh no, not what I wanted. No. I am appreciative that that is only a few seconds long. I run out of dance moves at that point. Alright, and then I think the last thing I want to do is shoink, 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 shoink. And I don't know. Alright. Whoa, what are you? What are you? No. Similar. Hi. Everybody loves paved road. Except when it demolishes your house. Figure this out, Peter. I don't want to do that yet. I don't feel like it's deserved the roads. But you have. You guys totally have. I think tree-lined is actually the way to go here. No. Alrighty. Should do here. Heck yeah. Got some of that sweet victory. Alright, yeah, let's last things grade right now. This little neighborhood area. Maybe we'll move to what's this? Something like that. Yeah, let's give him trees. Give him all trees. Maybe y'all will have sidewalk ramps as we transition into the neighborhood area. What should I do here? Maybe... It's fine. And with that, Wombat Downs is completely paved. It's kind of crazy. All right. Alright, so I think I want to keep building some more housing here. So if I don't do that, I'm never going to get the right population. Let's go. This. Maybe a few more. Kind of like a fun downtown shopping area or something. I don't know. Main Street, if you will. We'll also put that here too. Some shopping areas. Now I have a few things here, but this is so close to the highway, I feel like that actually might be better. What are we doing here? Alright, so we got that. We need a school. School. I'm trying to think what we need. Man, that's a whole nother thing. It's transport. Well, I'm not gonna think about that for right now because I'm not ready. We got a nice chunk of change at the moment, which is nice. Maybe we can make a campus soon. I feel like we're in a good spot. So, yeah, I probably should call it quits for right now. 32% full. Alright, neat. Well, this is it. This is where we are. We've completely redid our highway system, I think much for the better. I should do like a comparison side by side of like what we had before and what we have now. We have two kind of new developments. We've linked up Raccoon Mounds to Deer Park and Rowan Hills. Rowan Hills is going to be another, I think, industrial area. Maybe? I actually don't know what Rowan Hills is going to be. Sandalwood Downs, I think it's going to be mainly residential. Once we have some higher capacity building stuff, like, maybe we'll, I don't know. Maybe this is just going to be a beach community or something like that. I just leave it like that. I'm trying to think of where, like, the downtown would be. Maybe it's over here. Go out to the map. Maybe like the industrial, not industrial, but like the business or whatever area, high rises and skyscrapers and stuff like that will be over here. Because I can connect this up to the highway eventually. And then have that be over here. I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't know. Or maybe it's just here. Although this has a lot of potential for forestry stuff. Maybe I'll just clear some of it out or make it just like the Cape. And then bridge. That could be fun. Ferry stuff could also be fun. Doing like some ferry transport. Like Saddlewood or Roan Hills. Via these two little inlets or capes or whatever. Things to think about for the future. Thank you guys for hanging out though. Flawless, appreciate chatting with you. It's always fun to have someone chatting. Sows, thank you for following, and Flawless, thanks for the sub, the Prime sub. That was super generous. Appreciate it. Till next time, I think we're gonna stream tomorrow. We're gonna play some Deep Rock Galactic. That'll be fun. Let's see, is there anyone I can raid? Might just, yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.